again. So, yeah, last time we managed to actually get crafting working, which I've been, not crafting, recipe UI. Crafting was already technically working. Yeah, got some basic UI for the project, which I'll just get it loading whilst we're here. And consequently, I can now use the first bit of UI that I made to as a basis for the actual crafting UI that I'm going to come on to now, basically. But first, I took it upon myself to actually make a code generator for all this table data. So this might complain at me whilst it's doing this, but in my Java application, I made the concept of a table definition. So this is a table name, a category, and columns with a name and a type, with the ability to override the type name when possible. So if I go into this generates, so this is the table class. So this generates the actual code that I would put in here, for instance. So when this eventually lets me pick it up, there we go. Let me just do this. So this creates, table name, colon, table name, that, super. And you can see all of the parts in here would make up all of this. So this loop here works out even what methods to call inside here, and sets the data, does all of it. So if I hit run on this now, you can see that it generates a something called sum test table, and it makes a struct of f sum test table with an ID. And this is one of my previous ones. I wanted to see if it would generate the same. So for example, if I come into here and actually name it correctly, I believe it's this. Right, so we have input output data. So if I run this again, you should see, if I go, so this is the class, I can copy this in here, and you can see it generates a code with exactly all the same bits. This is named differently in the actual header, but it's named the same in this version of the header. And so it's generated the float, the int, the amount, the type, all of this stuff. And if I were to change, say, let's say one of the integers, if I change the amount to a string and hit save and hit run, then it will say amount equals this, which is just the raw string. If I come into here and say it's a double, hit run again, it's now amount equals get float from string, which and floats, doubles, whatever. So yeah, this is really useful. So now all I have to do is whenever I make a new table inside here, I just manually create all of its fields and columns, and it will generate all of the C++ in a format that I can copy and paste exactly. So I don't need to change it at all, really. I still can, obviously, but it will be like 99% accurate. So it generates all of the uProperty stuff and the right types before, and category, all of the header information. And I'll even go and make it so it generates the usage of it inside the table manager. So it will create the get method and the set method and the property name, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that will be extremely useful going forward. So I will have to do significantly less figuring out of tables and copying and pasting things that may or may not be accurate, and blah blah blah. So yeah, that would be really cool. But now here we are. Well, that was weird. I don't know what that message coming up was. So now I need to create a new UI component, and I need to think about this because obviously it's a crafting UI, and it should probably be generic, probably reusable, so you interact with something, and it should be able to figure out what it's interacting with. Pardon me. So ideally, we might have like multiple crafting devices with different crafting UI components, but they'd still need the same basic premise. So I'm thinking like a left-hand pane with a dynamic right-hand pane or something like that. Let's see. Because if we had... So we obviously want a list of recipes that you can filter on. So that actually reminds me I need to add the name to this. So we have this horizontal box. If I wrap this in a vertical box, probably best. And then I put in common text block. So just label, I don't know, I'll just put this in here. And then this can be recipe name. And when we go into here, so this will eventually be passed in a recipe. Doing that dynamically. So if I then do get recipe, then we want this recipe name with out space. This variable, we go going graph, and then we go here, get set text. Oh, that's not quite. Oh, hang on, if I... No. No. Okay, if we do this... Oh, right, I'm being an idiot. It was that, but whatever. Break. And then we break this. Name. Right, there we go. Alright, sorry about that. I was completely forgotten how to do struct things. No, come on. Wonderful. Right, there. So hopefully that should just work straight away. It's called Barricade. Good. And it requires a lot of weird items and produces a lot of weird items. Good. Let's make this more sensible now, shall we? I don't want to be opening that. Right. Where are we looking? I just created a lot of, yeah, okay. Right, so obviously get rid of pretty much all of those. That's fine. So yeah, we want a barricade to come out here. And we want wood, 15. Oh, we've already got wood. Let's go for nails. 30. Okay, if we run this again, and then we come into here. There you go, wood, nails, metal, barricade, perfect. So obviously we can't do anything with this yet because we haven't actually made the UI for it. Go on, shoo. All defenses, man. So, yeah, we definitely need at least something that can display an array of recipes now. Which means I need to go here, C++, here, UI, recipe UI. Use a widget. This is going to be just call it recipe list. It should probably it'll probably be fine. I can make the selection work in this list and return what the players selected. So I can have the selection code. I could probably make it event driven so that the individual recipe UI has a on selected delegate that this can hook into when it creates them and so on. So this is going to be recipe list. Do I call things UI? I probably do. Good, right. Oh, goodness me. Pause much. Right, I should complain about things in a second. Right, yeah, we want to reload all, thank you very much. If you don't do this, it doesn't actually get added to the project properly, so I think they need to fix that and not give you the yes, no, and just kind of force it upon you or something, because otherwise it just breaks anyway. It's completely pointless. Okay, so... Pardon me. Where do we start? Public. So we're going to want, let's say, T array F. U recipe UI. Yeah. There we go. Recipes, right. And then obviously we want a get recipes, which is a const get recipes. Public method there. Want a static U recipe UI list. Create recipe list. And this will have a T array of F full recipe. Recipes to add. This might need Do we make this generic? Let's just make it easy to start with. So if we do this, then generate definition. Oh yeah. Gotta make it one of a pointer if possible. Thank you very much. Cause I let me close some things real quick. Go away. Right. Probably don't need a recipe table. Okay, so I think I did it inside the controller. Oh no, I added it to. Oh, I used the game instance, didn't I? So it's done in the blueprints. So currently nothing actually creates the UI in here yet. So I just need to find the create widget. Yeah, so I need to do the class widget class. Okay, so this should have. Do I have an example UI that actually has a header? Nope. Nope. So far, not good. Damn. Okay, I will have to figure this out then. So I want to create, use the constructor. Okay, so if I do this, go here. If I get rid of that, and we call the super object initializer. Okay, cool. Right. So in here, I go all the way up to top. I can copy this, put it inside here. This will be recipe list class UI class. This is going to be a T subclass of user widget, I think. And then in here, obviously this will have to update to be whatever it ends up being. Just replace that to be more accurate. Okay. So we need to replace the text in here. Then this. Now when we create these, so it passes in this as a context. Create widget owning objects. So I probably need to pass in a controller. And I'll base. That was weird. I'm surprised it didn't find it. Right, so we need to pass in a controller to define ownership because that will be apparent. No, that wasn't quite what I meant. Forward declaration, thank you very much. Okay, so create recipe list. come in here, and we basically do the same thing that we'd normally do in here. Interesting, I might not need to do most of this. Wait, okay, if I just copy this, we come in here. And this is just going to be recipe list UI. We don't have that. What? Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay. Blast. I can't do it like that because I'm doing it inside of this. This is unfortunate. I'm kind of going about this the wrong way, because realistically it's the player controller that's going to be, well, there's probably going to be some UI manager that's going to create these, and there's no particular reason it has to be done inside here. Okay, well, we'll have to go through the same system I use for the recipe C++. Okay, if I make this static, okay, and I go back here. That's weird. What are you complaining about? Oh, no return. Well, yeah, I haven't got that far. That would be why. Okay, cool. I don't know. Right, whatever. We don't really need that or that. Okay, I'll just ignore that for now, and we'll come back to it later. So in this instance, we have this. So this needs to have, what would it be? A vertical box. So it would be a U vertical box for decoration. Recipe container. Oh, whoops. I don't know why I'm bothering to do that. Right. U property. Oh yeah, it doesn't like arrays. Great. Okay, then we can set that. So we want to expose this in the same way that we've done in here. So I think it's just blueprint read write. This gives us access to it in the blueprint. Oh, protected. There we go. Right. So we made it protected. First time it loads, it finds the relevant class. Okay, that's fine. And then in here, we do a full recipe. FR in recipes to add. Okay, do we need to load another class? I think I do. Yeah, I need to I need to load another one of these. So we come in here again and we make another static one of these, and this is going to be recipe UI class. And there's going to be the same gimmick here. And I'll just remove all of this nonsense because we don't care about it at the moment. We do need the underscore C to denote that it's a class that we're loading. And then we do the same thing we're doing here, but instead we go U recipe UI. And then we have recipe UI class. And then we do recipe UI dot set recipe fr. And then we do recipe container dot add child to vertical box recipe UI. Oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. Cool, right. So this will create a list, a vertical list separated based on that, and it will generate the recipe UI components. Oh, goodness. So now I just need to get the string reference to each of those. And we'll be good to go. Right, what are you complaining about this time? Unresolved external symbol. Yeah, I suppose it would be, wouldn't it? Do you not have... Gonna like it now. I might need to forward declare something. Oh, you vertical. Oh no, it's already found the vertical box. What one are you complaining about? There's both of them. Unresolved external symbol. Okay, I mean... Oh, it's already got it in there. But it's complaining about these. Why does it not? Oh, I know. You have to define these inside here. Right, hang on. So you do this, you do this. So with static objects, you have to actually define them in the C++ as well, because they haven't been set to a default value, and they won't be. Yeah, I'll go for it. Right. That'll stop that from complaining. Have you... Right, happy now? Thank you. Okay, right, that should do the trick. Oh, no, I forgot it was used here. Round 2. Wonderful. Right, so now we've got a single recipe, the ability to display a group. Then I need to add the concept of selecting, and therefore add a callback. So I need to find yet another example of delegates, which should be where's my character? There we go. So I need these kind of things. I'll just wait for this to finish because it will complain otherwise. Oh dear. I'm surprisingly tired. What did I need to run it up for? It doesn't matter. Right, so oh, I haven't actually made a blueprint of it yet. Blueprints UI. Blueprint class, recipe list. One of these, please. Recipe list UI underscore BP. Okay. So all we want is a vertical box for now. Panel, I think. Vertical box. This is going to be desired. This is going to be a variable, and it's going to be recipe container. Just call it recipe container BP. Then we go to graph, and on construct, we set recipe container to this. Now we have access to it, so that should work. So this should be not null, which is great. And now I can actually move the code that I made in the blueprint over. So if I get this, I can probably need to sort this out, but I can in theory cut this, paste it in here. Okay. Oh no, I shouldn't be doing it like this. Let's just delete that. I don't need to do that in here anymore. So this should... simply get recipe. And do that. That seems about right. So when this normally works, set full recipe, loops round, it gets the class, loads itself, loops round. So we create one that sorts itself out, inputs, outputs. Great. Okay, problem solved. So I just need that to have references to each. So this is the recipe UI blueprint. So I should be able to copy into this one. And I delete that. Why does it start? Yeah. And then the same goes for this. And realistically, I could just have that string somewhere else, but it doesn't really matter too much. I could just chop it all off to here. Okay. So that should be fine. I should find both of those. And then I can create one of these. From the player controller. Um, Trying to think how I want to do this. So optimally, I'd have another UI component that holds all of this. However, let's do it from the inventory because for now it simplifies things. So if I go in here, so yeah, we've got a recipe BP, but instead we want a recipe list BP to go there. Okay. And then in here on construct, that's not what I'm trying to do. How do I do this again? Oh, there we go. So on construct, we're going to get, hang on, I need to change that. So it's got access to it. Inventory UI. That's interesting. Blueprint callable. Oh, because it wasn't a, okay, right. It's not a method. That's my bad. Whatever. Get one of these. Uh, hmm. No, I'm doing this very backwards. So I need to do U function, blueprint callable, category, recipes. Whoops, not recipes. Gonna recompile. What I want to do is get a method. See how far it gets. Right. So now I can do this, and this. Oh, I need to do create recipe list. Right. So this is where we do get table manager, get recipes. We pass it into here, pass it into here. We then have get player controller. No. What do we call it in the inventory UI? Okay, it doesn't really matter too much, but if I make this protected, make this blueprint read write. Let me come in here. We recompile. That should give us access to that property. Because now we can actually start to create usage of the recipes. So I can now add buttons and stuff like that. So okay. So now I can go get player controller. That's for gameplay statistics. Oh, it's not get, it's just okay, and if I add category inventory. Oh, hang on. That would do, right. There we go, right. Compile, close, and hopefully nothing happened. Cool. That'll be because something else happened, right. Hmm. Okay, if I break that line and I do that instead, rather than on construct, hmm. Oh, yeah, okay, hang on. Yeah. I really am going about this horrifically. This needs to be done so better than what I'm trying to do here. I haven't referenced things properly and I've added something to something that I shouldn't. And we're dynamically creating something rather than using it in a different way. And yeah, it's never going to work. Right. So what's going on? So I've already added this recipe list BP. So what I want to do is do set this. That's interesting. Okay, if I get rid of this, then I just do this, get, add, child. Right, this doesn't like having multiple lines, which is understandable. So if we pull this back here, generate inventory, we do it here. Can have multiple children. Okay. Hmm. Okay, the horizontal box is being null. Actually, let's put a break in this, and we just go if input box and output box. Right, that will stop it from crashing. And kind of future proof it a bit to a point. It might be because I disconnected some of the other lines in it that I didn't intend to. See how that works. Because this should create the widget and set the recipe. Hmm. Okay, same difference here. Ah, damn it. Can I dynamically create this box? I'm gonna have to look into that as well. Okay, well, right. Stop. Just go from scratch. Okay, that check should never be necessary. So I'm gonna have to figure that one out, I suppose. Okay, so this recipe BP. Hmm. If I do that, that should set it whenever it gets sorted like that. And then this one, oh, graph. Um, okay, hang on, let's see how far we get. So we're in here. Do we hit this breakpoint? No. Not at all. Okay. Do we hit this? Nah. So I need to find a way of sorting this out, I guess. Hmm. Realistically, I just make it a blueprint callable method, say called add child to vertical box. Ignore the locally stored one entirely and it just does it there, but hmm. Can I override the constructor and do it? Because I thought that's... Hmm. Yeah, there's nothing else. It's construct called after the underlying slate. That should be taking me to here, so that's that recipe container. Ah, hello again. Ah, I'm pretty good, thanks. How are you? Having fun times with UI components at the moment. I have a working crafting system. I just need to make the UI to utilize it now. What games are you playing at the moment? Recipe container. How else do I approach this? Oh, I see. I've always been tempted to play that, but it's a little brutal for my liking. Yeah, I don't doubt that. It's it ain't chill, that's for damn sure. Um is it finding the classes properly? Yeah, it does look pretty cool. It's like the ideal survival sort of thing. It's just, yeah, high realism and stuff. So it's finding the classes. And that's no. So this hasn't hit the constructor. Oh no. Man, that's rough. I played it very briefly because it was I seem to have access to, is it Luna? It's Amazon Prime's gaming platform. They just said, by the way, you now have access to this. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, Luna. And I figured I'd give it a try. And it's got, funny enough, Kingdom Come Deliverance too. It ran surprisingly well, but my internet's still a bit shit for it, so yeah. But it's probably pretty good for a lot of people. So I'd imagine if you live somewhere that's got good internet but you don't have a good PC, you could probably play some pretty good games. I'd imagine Skyrim wouldn't be too bad using it, but yeah. How do I? Alright, I'm gonna have to look this up. I've not encountered this particular problem before because I've never got it working before. Unreal Engine. Oh. Pardon me. Hmm. I need to link the UI component to the other UI component. Man, this viewer thing just isn't doing it. Apparently, I've got 0 people. Does it like, is it just broken? Apparently, somebody followed me the other day and they didn't even bother to tell me about it. It's good, all this stuff. Oh, maybe they didn't, but yeah, who knows? Oh, it's sources, that's why. Can I like forcibly refresh it? Oh, that's weird. Who knows? Um, I mean, it's just this thing here that's like showing 0 despite there being you and the default AI thing that joins me. Stream elements. I'm not even getting your messages making sounds either. It all seems to be a little broken. Oh, that's because I got the sound turned off. Oh man, the irony. Mhm. Yeah, chatbot settings. And let me have a look at this. Oh no, I can't be asked. Right. Well, it doesn't matter. I'll come back to things in a minute. Um. Uh. Hmm. What I want is user widget constructor asset C++ but all value. Yeah, I can do all of that. This isn't really gonna cut it. So like I have two options here. I can either force this to work by making it so the C++ actually creates the containers and manually adds them to the widget, which wouldn't be ideal. Or I can do the reverse and force C++ to call out into the blueprint to say get me the container. For now, that seems like the most sensible option. So, for instance, if I copy this, we stop this. Right, so we want up here, we want this, and this is going to be new vertical box star get recipe list container. Right, that will generate that method. And then in here, we simply call that. That's fine. And then we can do exactly the same thing in the other one. And that will guarantee that these work. So this will be get recipe input input container and coincidentally output container. Who would have thought? I'll just do another test message. Yeah, right. Okay, so the sound's working. And then in here, I can just do recipe input container, recipe output container. Huh? Oh, they're both horizontal boxes, right? Sorry, that's my bad, my bad. But output. Okay, so that's one way to solve it. I mean, that would just work at least. And then I can prove my methods are doing the trick. Just gonna test a Twitch follow. Okay, so it does work. Maybe that guy just didn't follow me. Oh, I can make polls, games, wheel spins. I can do really fancy shit with this. I'd actually have to, have a community to warrant doing half of this fancy shit, but it's a possibility. Yeah, doesn't matter. No, right, okay, let me go away. Right, so, well, I probably should have said yes on that. So this, right, so now we come into here, and yeah, we have all this nonsense. So I don't really need that anymore. Get rid of all of this. This is just gonna keep it simple and do that. And then we go functions, override that and that. Right, and then this is going to be the output container, so we do this and we return that, and then this is going to be the input container, so we can get rid of that. We can do that and do this. So we can get down to this. Wonderful, whatever. Yeah, pointless. Condense these down. Never have to look at them again, basically. Right, compile. I'd rather not do this at all, but it will definitely fix the problem. So, there we go. Right, and get rid of all of that. And that. In fact, get rid of everything. Assume there's nothing left. We do this, we get rid of that, we put this here, we get that there, we put that there, we put this there, and we're done. Right, there we go. Oh dear, and we hit run and it breaks. Oh no, it does not. Okay, we hit break point. Ironically, it technically breaks. And look, we have recipes. There's no scroll bar, which is probably my first thing to fix. And apparently there's a recipe called Barricade that takes in a metal and makes a sniper, which is probably the case, because lo and behold, there is a recipe called Barricade that takes in a sniper. That takes in a metal and produces a sniper. So yeah. Well, we'll come back to that. So let's just add a scroll box around this. Wrap with probably some orderly dubstep is what I would wrap with. Maybe some swing. Depends what you're feeling. Okay. Oh yeah, it probably won't generate a scroll box until I actually add more things back. Just do that. Oh. It ain't got no scroll box. Interessant. Do I have to do something fancy for this to work? This widget clips content bounds of this widget. That isn't English. This widget clips content, the bounds of this widget. Sure. If it intersects with those bounds of any previous clipping area. It's close enough. That's interesting. Yeah, it's still not whatever. Because I've got one that works on the inventory UI. There will be a scroll box. Orientation vertical visible. Hang on, let's just go here. Compare the two. And so if I place of child, I do like replacing things. No, can't say that. Right. Ahem. Scroll box. Not quite what I had in mind. Not in the slightest, in fact. You can go away, right. We want to wrap it with a scroll box. And we want this to be vertical, visible when possible. So I change like anything of this. Style, bar style. Clip to bounds, inherit. Clip to bounds, inherit. Flow direction. Huh. Okie doke. This is a vertical box. C'est intéressant. Have you done anything with this? Auto, and it's max and max. Same here. Desired. Vertical box 0. Oh, that's why, because I'm not adding it to the scroll box. That's why it's not scrollable. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, oh, whoops. So if I get rid of this, I get the scroll box, then in theory, might work. Nah, don't do shit. Oh, don't you just love UI? Okay, hang on. And it should work. There's an add child to vertical box as well. Does that do anything different? No. We got multiple recipes. Maybe the scroll bar's like, oh, for God's sake, you press the wrong button and there should be like a scroll bar along there. Because if I go over here, yeah, it makes a scroll bar for this, which implies the data's not being updated, perhaps. Ah, that's so irritating. That's weird. Okay, right, whatever. Okay, so well we've got something. It's certainly not doing what I expected it to, but it is functional. I would like to fix the problems that we've got going at the moment. So it's the inventory grid. It's the vertical box there. I'm technically adding it to this one, aren't I? Why is that right? Yeah. Because there's the player inventory, and then oh, that's the overall one. Yeah, okay. So that's one on the left. Am I actually using these? Are they just placeholders that I never deleted? There's inventory grid. Am I actually using that? Yeah. Clear children. Loop through. Get item containers. Or create item containers. So this is where it adds it. And it adds it to a vertical box inside a scroll box. And this is a vertical box with a scroll box. Okay, hang on. If I instead replace with right, if I do this and I replace with oh no, if I do that, get rid of the vertical box, I do wrap with vertical box, and then I make this vertical box variable. This should still compile because it's still called vertical box 0. And now I might fix it. Oh, okay. Well, it did fix it. It's other side. Not sure how we've managed that. Let's find out real quick because that's not good. How have you ended up on the other side? Okay. There we go. Well, hey, right, now we've got a scroll box with some recipes in it. Good. Oh, right. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. This is slightly more irritating than I thought it would be. Oh no. But yeah, it's coming along. Yeah, so we need to now actually make it. Let's think. We kind of want to add. How would you do this? Because realistically, I could have like a crafting section in the center. Or on the left. So I mean, you could say I could tabulate the whole thing, and it'd be like character inventory and like nearby loot, and a crafting one, And I guess you could have this this sort of third section split here, where this character inventory persists, and then you're either looking at crafting section or nearby loot, and then on this goes into the crafting section, and this thing, yeah, okay. And let's change that inventory text to be what it's actually supposed to represent, because it's not inventory. This is nearby containers loot. Okay, cool. And if we come over here, we get all of this, and now we've got our cloth, wood, barricade, cool. And then, yeah, so I could put a tabbed section here. So let's give that a go, because I've never used one before inside the Unreal Engine. Oh, it's over here. Right, so that means I need, so this scroll box encompasses all of this. So if I do wrap with is it a widget switcher? That's interesting. It says it's like a tab control but without tabs. So how do you select? Maybe I should right, what's a wrap box? Arranges widgets left to right dependently. Orientation when the widgets see the wrap size. Oh, that would be ideal for my inventory system. Okay, I need to look into that as well. Scale box, scroll box, lists. Huh. Okay, let's look this up then. Unreal Engine, tab, menu. Tab container. So look. Widget switch panel. Have to wrap your items with any power you like to experience the canvas, however. Either Z order or removing widget blueprints in the view is a good idea for this for everything else, set visibility, hide things you don't want to see them. Okay. Types of switch isn't. Activate next, activate previous. Common visibility switcher. Create tabbed. A common tab list which must be linked to switcher. Blah blah blah. Jeez. Oh man, I'm gonna have to create my own bloody UI concepts, I guess. Speed container. Goodness me. Okay, that's a whole other kettle of fish. We ain't getting into that. And it does beg the question: why am I using a? How are these things stacked near each other? Is it just coincidence? It's just the alignment. Okay, that's not good. So these two are technically on top of each other. So we actually want to wrap with a horizontal box. And move that across there. It's been such a long time since I've even attempted to touch the UI of this game at all. Right. So what we actually want to do is create. So this is going to be so this is like nearby loop nearby loop container. This is going to be player inventory container. Oh, if I could spell container correctly. Player inventory container. I don't know why this is like a thing. Yep. Okay, and then we will just simply want another one. Another vertical box. And this is going to be our crafting container. There we go, right, that would do. And then we come into here and we screw this and we go, oh, did it not? Oh, it's variable. This is going to be replaced with child. And this is going to now be the crafting container. Compile, whoops, right, play, and hopefully, yeah, there we go. I need to left align those again, but I mean, if I run over here, yeah, still does the usual shit, basically. Wonderful, right. And if I come out of here, I think these are the scroll boxes, are they? I've been horrifically inconsistent with this. Oh, right, okay. Look, left align, top align. Yeah, cool. So wait, this is a scroll box. Yeah, okay, I just need to wrap it with a scroll box. Or do I? Oh no, it's got a scroll box, right, it doesn't matter. Okay, we're good to go. So, this vertical box is then gonna get a text thing in here. So that just says, crafting. Right, compile. Okay, that should look a bit more consistent. Yeah, sure, whatever. It's still weirdly not aligned. There we go. Huh? Is that not... I don't understand this. Wait, can I run this and make changes? Usually I can. No. Compile. Play. Right, there we go. And I suppose we probably want each of these to be horizontally stretched, vertically stretched. Anyway, so just make everything the same. See if they kind of even themselves out. They do not. Okay, let's be specific about it then, and we say this one is left aligned, this one is center aligned, this one is right aligned. How's that working? That has not changed a damn thing. Okay, left aligned, center, right aligned. Nope. It didn't compile it. Oh, I don't know. Right, fill screen. Oh man. Middle. Right. Middle. It's a horizontal box screwing us up or something. Okay, if I replace it with a grid panel, and okay. Alright, just whatever. Sure. Let's make sure the text is in the right place. Grid panel. Okay, I don't know, I'm gonna give up with that. It's functional anyway, it's just a bit shit. So if we get rid of this guy, take out some of these dudes. And we come over here. Scroll box isn't working. Oh, I really can't win with this shit. Yeah, scroll box is stopped. Uh-huh. Yeah, that needs to be that needs to be that. Oh, this is a pain in the ass. I've gone and broken the UI again. Because this should be at least extending downwards. Still functions though. Stacking things. Wow, that's a lot of soda. Damn, somebody's gonna eat well, drink well, even. One of those words. Balls would be the appropriate response. So we've got a scroll box which is surrounding a, and I'll put this over here. So we've got a scroll box, we have a vertical box. We're gonna side a grid panel. So okay, instead if I replace this with another horizontal box. Yeah, right, and then we try again. Okay. Sorry, folks. Right, so now the scroll bar's working at least. Doesn't seem to be quite working with the crafting. I guess, am I technically off the edge of the map? Alright, yeah, I can't. And if I... Sorry, off the edge of the screen. No, that should definitely be creating a scroll bar. Okay, let's just try and fix that before we get too far ahead. So this is a vertical box. It had a scroll box. I don't remember deleting the scroll box. That'll be why it's not scrolling. There we go. Right, perfect. Nice. Yeah, I need to stop being able to do things like this and blah 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 at some point. I need to do a complete overhaul of how the UI is handled at some point. Because it's a bit terrible at the moment. Cool, yeah, we can pull things in, great stuff, job done. Okay, so we've got kind of a crafting UI list. Now we need to make things selectable. So in theory, I should be able to commandeer the code. So if I close all that, and we go to the item UI, there is a native mouse button down. So, close this. We requisition this. Go in here. detected, and we generate. So in here, we have examples of how to do this. So we steal this, and all we want to do, so on click, is invert the selected state. So we will have a simple ball selected called which is a U property, which is blueprint read write, which is category recipe. So then we can see it. Okay. Now we could do with having a highlight and a toggle. So we have void, and we say select and deselect. Okay. And then in here, we can have a void set selected state. Okay, and then we have selected equals selected state selected select else deselect. Okay, this way we can update the UI and tell them about it, and then we can go set selected not selected, and then we can hit go, and then all we have to do is hook up select and deselect and give it a border and toggle the color basically. I think I've got an on hover thing that happens somewhere else. Is this how I do it? No, it's just setting the image. Right, so we have recipe UI, we have a border, surprisingly, I forgot about that one. Padding of 3. Can I wrap this with another border? With like a padding of 5. Let me just see how I'm doing it in here. I'm UI. Highlight border. Padding of 10. I'm using an image. And if I get rid of that. So yeah, we set a padding of 10. So there's color and opacity for the content. Border 2. then in theory, so on mouse enter, set brush color. Highlight brush color. Okay, sounds good. So if we go here, we might as well call them the same name. Go to designer, highlighted border. Highlighted border is variable. We come in here, we get rid of that, we get rid of that. And we want to override the function for deselect and select. And all we do is we get this, get highlight border, set brush color. What did we have? Okay. Can I then come here, variables, highlight, highlighted color, oh, whoops. This is going to be a brush, color. What colors do they? Good grief. Oh, hang on, I need to have a better approach. Promote to variable. Okay, linear color, right? Linear color. And in theory, okay, so this is the highlighted color. Okay, and then this one should be the not highlighted color. This will be base color. Deselect, get this, that. Compile, come over here, come over here. Beautiful. Whatever. It's not great, but it works. Don't know why these aren't sitting inside the, quite inside the border. And the colors obviously aren't changing properly. If I give that a wider border, it looks a bit better anyway. And then it's just on me to hook up to the selected. So we need something in the recipe. We probably need to stop this because we're going to do a lot of shenanigans now. If I go to my character here, so we basically want one of these. a delegate so that we can. So we have, this is going to be called f recipe selection changed UI recipe UI, and then we're going to have a public on f recipe selection changed. Whoops. Something like that. And then this will allow us to broadcast it to anything that cares. So we go in here and we do dot broadcast this. And then we can have the corresponding, oh whoops, we can have something that listens to it. So I copy this again because I'm lazy. And we go into here. And now we want a method. So we get rid of this and we go void recipe selection changed. We get rid of that and we sneakily created a simple method that we can use. And then when we go in here, we go this, and we simply do this dot on recipe selection change this reference to u recipe list UI recipe selection change. That should be with a D. Let me just. Oh yeah, dot add unique dynamic. And if I rebuild the solution, that should be fine. In theory. And this is just saying when thing happens, other thing happens. Oh, right, yeah, I can't use this because it is that. That's why. We're in a static method. Right, there we go. Rebuild solution. And then in here, we want a u recipe UI selected recipe. We want the usual one of these, please. And then we want something like this, which will just be a u recipe UI pointer. Get select. Oh. Get selected recipe. Return selected recipe. And then here, when we do change it, if selected recipe is null, then we just go selected recipe equals recipe UI. Otherwise, selected recipe dot deselect, and then we just need to do this, and we do if not. There we go. So if we've already got a recipe selected, then we selected another one, this will then make it deselect the previous one, select the current one, and then this will do some kind of update to the UI to like change the whether we can craft it or not, or activate the button or whatever. Well, once these things were all kind of working, You know, it's easy enough to do little things like this that then make it, functional. That's small aspect. Oh, goodness. There's certainly a lot to this, but it is just linking things correctly. That's all it takes. Oh, oh dear. Right, so it should already be working. So I select the barricade. Oh, hey, it's interesting. Oh no, I do need to. I haven't made it select. That's interesting. Hang on, shouldn't it? Huh? Selection changed. No, I shouldn't need to. Hang on. It's working, but it's weird. There's a weird state thing not happening. How close is it? It's basically there. Huh. I don't know if it's the UI not detecting that I'm clicking on them. No, that's not it. Is it just not updating the state correctly? Sets this. If selected. Oh, hang on. No, wait. That's right. On mouse button down, it passes in not selected. So this is fine. If it's selected, it says, makes it select, and otherwise deselects it, and then broadcasts the fact that it's changed. And all this does is toggle it. Maybe it is the UI not accepting the left mouse button all the time. Anyway, it's kind of there. I don't really get why. Does it have to be always within? See, this one isn't doing it. Let's have a look. So one of them's not doing it at all. Okay, that's really odd. Otherwise, the recipes are being selected. I really ought to make this extend a bit further out. Um, Everything should be like grabbing an even amount of space. How do I do that? So it should be. They're all doing stretch. Let's have a look. Okay, that's better. Right. Oh yeah, the generate inventory is gonna keep spamming it with stuff. It doesn't matter. I'll fix that another time. Well, it should be done through the player controller anyway. And this needs to be filtered regardless. And searchable and blah blah blah. Still surprised it's having some issues like. Ah, I think I just realized. No, is that it? No, because this is, yeah, setting recipe selected changed. So it will deselect the last one if there is one. Is that always working? So if I select this and I go here, so the current recipe should be different. Yeah, so we've got recipe 0 and recipe 1. Oh, we're just being told that it's been updated. So this should in theory have selected true. This should have selected false. But it does not. Oh, no, I've got it the wrong way around. This should be false. But it's not. Why is that not technically been deselected. Because this should have selected as false. Not true. Oh, hang on. This is because I'm forcibly deselecting the... Ah, right, okay. I see. I've got kind of a split way of doing it because the force deselect doesn't actually toggle the selection state, it toggles the visual selection state, right? So all I need to do is, have I already made it exposed to blueprints? I have. Not sure if I've reloaded since. In here, set selected. No, okay. I gotta recompile. And now I probably gotta stop. Alright, okay, set. Yeah, one of them's automated and the other isn't. So this is going to do, whoops, that. And this is going to do that. Now we're talking. So if I scroll down, oh no. Oh, it's because it's generated a separate list of recipes. So this one's technically a separate list to that one, which is why I can change. Yeah, okay. Whatever. But it works now. There we go. Right. Problem solved. That's the next layer. And now all I need to do is simply somewhere in the code, I can even do it in here. I could just add, I could basically do it now, where I literally, where am I looking? Recipe UI list thing here. So some recipe list, and then we go input and not input, common. We whack in a button. Put a button at the bottom. Right, and we need to like wrap with a vertical container. Okay, compile, I don't know, where's the text? Hmm. Is there not content somewhere? Oh, give over. Huh? Have buttons lost their text or something? Or did they never had them to begin with? Okay, well, whatever. Just call it craft, right? There's going to be a massive ass button at the bottom, cool, craft. And then on that, I can have a thing in here, which just literally says, you know, just a, no, let's just put these in here. Oh yeah, I can't apparently. And then we have a void craft, blueprint callable, come here, generate definition. This is gonna have a thing in here and it will just do exactly the same thing as the base controller does. Oh, I'm in the AI controller. Somewhere in the player controller. Thank you. Craft. We literally want to do this. So we go back to here and we can do a cheeky get owning player, a player controller, a base player controller, con equals cast, a base player controller, blah 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 blah, con dot come on, include definition. This also had right, we just want the output, so we do equals is it selected, so selected recipe dot get recipe dot outputs dot get just find 0. Okay, fine, I'll just do a usual array thing. Okay, so this will craft the first one in the list, so I can then recompile. And go into here, button. In fact, if I just go on the craft button, I just hit the plus on pressed, and we just do craft. Lo and behold, we have craft. We select, we come into here, hit play, we select the sniper rifle, and we can generate sniper rifles, everybody. At the cheap cost of nothing, because I haven't actually made it utilize the actual ingredients yet. So eventually I'll have this so that it disables the ones that you can't use, enables the ones you can, filters ones that you have some of the resources, highlights the resources, and so on and so forth. And it's this whole thing. But I can now generate items in the player's inventory, and all I have to do is consequently remove items prior to the generation of the items, and then I have a crafting system. So this will instead replicate the loop. So if I actually take this, come into here, copy that, remove those, remove that, copy that out, get rid of all of that. And then this would be selected recipe dot get recipe. Okay, right, and then this would be the exact same premise, but for the inputs, and this would be remove item. What do you know? We can get rid of the IDs. So now we can do this will now do a remove and an add, and we just go if selected recipe, which technically does a null check, come down here, and we're good. That should be fairly error proof. So if you try and press the craft button prior, you can't, and consequently I could like make a method in here to enable and disable the button if you haven't got one selected, and then I could also make it so it checks recipes when it creates this list, so it will check your inventory as to whether you have the items, which you can do in basically the same way it does here. So I could do this, I could get rid of this, and there is a field check. There is a get item amount. Here we go. And this simply takes in an ID. So we could do recipe UI dot get recipe dot inputs. You put it in 0 and then get the input or output ID. And then you could do a if that is greater than 0, then do the thing or whatever. I mean, obviously there's a lot more to do here. I mean, I would factor introduced variable, then I would, this would be a loop. Sorry, I guess, yeah, that was fine. I'm just going to quickly knock something up here. So it'd be the same thing for this. In that greater or equal to amount. Then I don't know, set recipe enabled, something like that. Okay, so now this is gonna like loop through all of the inputs, check if the amount in our inventory based on the ID, so it'd also be if ID dot type is item, and we do that, and that's it. And now this will loop through, check whether we have the relevant items in our inventory. Yeah. And then this will remove them, this will add them. And then we should also have a sort of item updated method and blah, blah, blah. So then we can track whether it changes to then consequently run this method again every time the player's inventory changes. We can check if anything uses that item. So, you know, I could have something like this, and this would be like check inventory, and this would be int 32 item changed, and then we would have the same exact concept here, but instead of this, so this would be get recipes, and what's get recipes? Yeah, should be get recipes. Oh, it's a dot. No. Get recipes. Oh, we need a loop and a loop. Hang on. This should be recipe. You recipe UID recipe, and this should be recipe to get recipe. Oh wait, that should be that. Oh. Oh, this needs to be an array of that, right? I don't know why I didn't do them as pointers to start with. Okay, that should be fine. Yep. Am I actually adding them to the list? I am not. Recipes dot add recipe UI. Oh, okay, right, now we're adding them to the list. Creating that, we're checking the recipes, ingredients. This is gonna check the player's inventory, so this should now be that, get recipe, get inputs. If it's item, and this time if the IOD dot the output ID equals that, and perfect. Right, so now we're filtering on ones that are items, one where it's specifically the item that's just changed, and then does the usual check, and then it decides to enable or disable the relevant recipe. And yeah, jobs are good. Right, that'll do. I need to create an enable, disable, and the recipe UI, of course, which no. Oh, we'll cross that bridge another time. I keep saying that, but you know, we will. Okay, this is looking pretty good now. Yeah, so we can select things. This will remove and add things. We need to create the enable disable functionality so that the recipes can be allowed to be crafted or not. And this would be instant, but later we need to make it use a progress bar and some kind of timer. Potentially some things might be instant, other things wouldn't be. And then when we've got that concept sorted, it's going to be more of a case of, yeah, managing like when things get added and removed, and like locking the player's inventory so that whilst it's doing the crafting, the player's inventory can't be changed. So I need like a yeah, UI disabling functionality. So I need to make it for the recipes themselves, but I also need to make it for the inventory so that I can stop the player from manipulating things whilst other things are in progress. Which means I need to potentially create some kind of queuing system for the inventory, because multiple players might also be trying to use it at the same time. And so it like it allows things to occur once after each other. And like crafting should be added to the queue and then call back to the thing which is crafting once the queue's complete, so that it can then perform the check again, which should happen automatically as the player's inventory changes anyway. But yeah, so we'll have to keep a close eye out on that, because multiplayer adds a whole new level of fun. Cool. Right. So thanks for watching. If you did, it's 2.5 hours is a long time to be sat here struggling to write code, but there you go. I'll just clear this up because I don't need it anymore. That's all good. That's fine. Oh, do I need... Oh, that's interesting. Right, that'll be it for me, I think. So yeah, thanks for watching if you are, and I'll see you guys around.